Hey guys, it's Jamie from Books and Ladders. I have another video for you guys today. This one's a little bit different because I'm not doing an unboxing, so I know we've had weeks and weeks of that one. But today I'm going to talk about my top 5 adult fantasy novels so that you guys can broaden your fantasy horizons. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I'm sure most of you have at least heard of this one because Victoria also writes young adult novels and middle grade novels. So A Darker Shade of Magic follows Kel and Lila as they travel between different worlds, and in these different worlds there's different levels of magic that people can use, and they're trying to save the world from magical destruction. I absolutely love this series. I love everything that Victoria writes. I actually have all of her books for this year pre-ordered, and A Darker Shade of Magic is going to be translated into a comic, and I'm really excited to read that. Plus, it's going to have a spin-off series as well, so you get to see some of the characters apparently in the next series. Another good YA to adult transition series is The Alchemists of Loom by Elise Kova. So the Loom saga has 3 books in it. I've read The Alchemists of Loom, but I haven't read Dragons of Nova or Rebels of Gold, but they are sitting on my shelf, which I don't think you can see because I'm blocking it right now. But I love Elise's work. I read and beta read all of the Air Awakens series, and I thought The Alchemists of Loom was a good transition for her into adult fantasy, and I absolutely love it. It's steampunk and dragons and just generally a really cool magic system, plus a really detailed world and good characters. I really enjoyed The Alchemists of Loom and highly recommend it too. Next up, I'm sure most people know this as well, but it's the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. But my favorite book in this series so far is A Feast for Crows. This is generally the book that people don't like, which is surprising to me, but I think it's because of how it's written, with like, you only get certain worlds in this one, whereas in A Dance with Dragons you get different people and different perspectives. But I absolutely love A Feast for Crows, and I can't say enough about the actual books that are part of A Song of Ice and Fire over the TV show Game of Thrones. As much as, like, obviously I love that as well, but the books just give you so much more detail and characters and backstory, plot. Plus I have, you can see now, I have all the history books as well, and I'm just so involved in this series, so I absolutely love it and couldn't recommend actually reading the books to you more. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. This starts the Lightbringer series, which currently has 4 books. I met Brent Weeks in Michigan about a year ago now. I was part of the street team that helped coordinate that event as well, and this has such a cool magic system. So the plot in this is that there is someone that's prophesized to be the Lightbringer, and there's someone in power that's known as the Black Prism, and only one person can be that. Once that person dies, it passes on to somebody else, and the current Black Prism finds his estranged son, and they have to train his estranged son because he could potentially be the Lightbringer or the next Black Prism, and there's lots of twists and turns along the way, plus some really fierce female characters as well. It has such a cool magic system. I love the way that different people have different levels of ability, and you take in color and use that color to build different things that can be used as weapons or defense systems or like anything. And it's just so cool, and I absolutely love it. This is a really good kickoff book. I think this is probably my favorite in the series, even though it starts off really slow. It took me a really long time to get through it. It also is like pretty big, but I did listen to the rest of them on audiobook, so maybe if I had done that, this would have gone a lot quicker, but I would recommend the audios for this series. And last but not least is one that I listened to on audio. It's Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I just finished this one at the end of June, and I absolutely loved it. It follows Nona, who is in training to become what is known as a Red Sister. She has to face so many different trials and prove herself time and time again. But even though she has like great ability, it's still not like to the point where you know she's the chosen one, or she is so powerful that there's no point in even for her to go to school, because most of the other girls in her class are the same way. So this follows only basically female characters because it's nuns that are badasses, and it's great. I listened to the audio and really enjoyed it, but I think I would have enjoyed the experience of reading it as well, especially near the end, because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to know what happens. Like, it got so crazy at the end, and I cried at the end as well. As a disclaimer, I did get this book sent to me for free, this one in particular, but I did buy the audiobook because it was an Audible daily deal. So that doesn't impact my opinion on this, and I'm not trying to sell you something that I don't actually believe is worthwhile. So yes, I very much enjoyed this book. So if you're looking to transition into adult fantasy, this could be one, and really any of the books that I said today would be as well. If you have any questions or recommendations, or you know any other books that you think I would like in the adult fantasy genre based on these books that I told you today, feel free to tweet or DM me. My handle everywhere is @Books and Ladders. So until next time, see you guys.